Today is a difficult day. Today, this whole week, has been the most difficult of my life and, of course, my family's life. My sister is here, my grandmother, my father, my mom. It's been a crazy road. It really has. And I have my attorneys here. I have City Hall people here, and I just want to thank all of my family members, my extended family. I want to thank my supporters. I want to thank city residents. I want to thank City Hall employees who work tirelessly every single day. There's so many of them here today, and so many of them have been so kind with great words. I want to thank you all for the hard work you've shown as employees of the City of Fall River. You've got a tough job to do, and you do it really well, and thank you. I want to start off by saying, before I get into some comments, that, of course, last Thursday was the worst day of my life, certainly. It was not a proud moment, and a lot of people saw me come out of the federal courthouse in Boston with a smile on my face. And I'm here to tell you that wasn't meant to be perceived as arrogance or pride or excitement, certainly, but I was nervous. It was a long day, and I was nervous, and I didn't know how to react. I, of course, had not been in that situation, and I was intimidated. A lot of cameras are here today, but there were a lot of cameras that day, and it was a long, long day, and I had my family, and I had so many people that were contacting me with such great messages, and they've continued all the way till this morning, and I just want to thank them so much, and I love my family who's here today standing by me and has been here every single day of my entire life. So I love you guys, and I thank you. The support has just been overwhelming. I have a prepared speech here. It's 5 pages long. I worked with my attorneys all night long, all weekend long, to craft the right words. Obviously, a legal process is very intimidating, and everything I say will be gripped very tightly by the media, by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I have this statement, but as many of you know, this is not typical of me. I don't typically use speeches, and although my attorneys are not, or rather this somewhere in there, are not really thrilled, I will reference a lot of what's in here, and you will get a copy of this speech, but I'm not going to use the speech today. I'm going to speak to you, the citizens of Fall River, the people who elected me, the mayor of the city of Fall River. I'm going to speak to you from the heart. We said a prayer before coming down here, and I'm going to speak to you. So, we know why we're here. We know that this was 18 months of rumors and allegations about things that I did as mayor. We know that my political opponents attacked me. Countless amounts of rumors, countless innuendos, statements on the radio about talking to FBI agents, all kinds of craziness. All kinds of craziness. We know that I defeated a district attorney at 23 years old. We know that I've challenged establishment here in the city of Fall River. We know the record that I have as mayor of this city. We know the record that we've achieved together. So I'm not going to go into the record. We know that there's going to be a new Durfee High School built. We know that we've accomplished streetscapes. We know that we went from the brink of receivership with literally a deficit of $500,000 to today a surplus of $8 million. We know. The list of accomplishments goes on and on and on, whether it's investing in public safety like police and fire, or investing in education so that teachers don't get pink slips and that they know that they have a job here in the city to educate the next generation. We've done all those great things, and we changed the city for the better. We changed the city for the better, and no one can take away those accomplishments. Although my political opponents continue to want to take away those accomplishments, they simply can't. And I was reelected by you, the citizens of Fall River, in the most recent election by over 64% of the vote. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be the mayor of Fall River. I remember as a youth, born and raised in this city, becoming Youth of the Year in 2008, being proud of this city, being happy to live in this city, knowing that I could make it here even back then. And I have done a lot of things. I have accomplished a lot of things, and you're going to see today some of the things that we're going to talk about over the next couple of months. But I think it's important. I think it's important for me to address the public. You know, a lot of people wouldn't do this. A lot of politicians would run and hide, and would be worried about statements they were going to make in the press, and they wouldn't want to respond to allegations, an indictment. They wouldn't want to go through the details. But I am going to show you today, via a presentation, that these allegations made against me that have nothing to do with my job as the mayor of the city of Fall River, and that stem all the way back to when I was 20 years old, are 100% false, and that I am innocent of every single one of these allegations. And I want to show you the presentation. This indictment comes down to really two things. Number one, was Snow Owl a real product? Was it available to the consumer market? The U.S. Attorney stated, somebody from the press corps last Thursday asked the U.S. Attorney, was this app available to consumers? Consumers, that's all the people here in this room, that's people all over the country. Was it available on the App Store? That's really the essence of the question. And his response was no. And that somehow I schemed, that I never intended to create an app, that the app never landed on the App Store, that people couldn't download this app called Snow Owl. And I'm going to show you today how that is simply false. And also, secondly, that I somehow created a tax fraud, and that it was really only until I learned that I was under an investigation that I rushed to somehow cover up the tax fraud. That's really the crux of the indictment. And you heard, no charges as the mayor of the city of Fall River. That's because from day one, this investigation was politically motivated by my opponents. And the things that you heard and saw in that indictment were categorized to appear as though I committed a scheme to steal money from investors and didn't produce a real product that you could physically see and download. And number two, that I hid money that I owed the IRS. And we're going to see some of the facts today as well. So, I'm going to show you first the taxes. So the U.S. Attorney's Office in the indictment, and I'm sure everyone here has a copy of the indictment, has two paragraphs, excerpts from an email. And that email is dated April 29th, 2016. There's the excerpts, right? And they're suggesting in the indictment that it was after I learned, when I brought on a new CEO of Snow Owl, that I suddenly tried to cover my tracks of this tax fraud. Well, the U.S. Attorney in the indictment only put 2 out of 4 paragraphs of that email into the indictment. Here's the full email. Here's the full email, and everyone will get a copy of this. I want to turn your attention to the red line in the 4th paragraph, where the new CEO, the temporary CEO, the advisor, in the indictment he's referred to as advisor number 1, states in the email, dated April 29, 2016, I know that you haven't done anything malicious and your actions in the past were all with the best intent to grow Snow Owl. But that thought won't be shared by certain investors when they're missing funds in a commingled bank account. It's bad, but not the end of the world if we take action to fix it now. So, this was in 2016. May 6th of 2016, some 6 days after this email, I hired an accountant based on the CEO/advisor number one's advice to address any and all financial concerns with Snow Owl. Whether it was I owed taxes, whether it was there was money that was missing, whether it was anything. 6 days after I was informed that we need to fix it now, 9 months before I knew of an investigation, I engaged in a formal letter with an accountant to fix all concerns. Not a scheme, not fraud. Based on what the advisor explained to me, I engaged an accountant to fix any financial issues, as you see from this email, that existed with Snow Owl. That's not to say that the issues may still have existed, but this shows that I was not attempting tax fraud and that I did not try to cover my tracks 9 months later, as the indictment suggests, when I found out about the investigation. I engaged an accountant 6 days after I was formally informed that Snow Owl needed to do financial due diligence, not for the purpose of covering my tracks, but for the purpose of continuing the progress of the company. A company and an app that was real. That was real. So now I'm going to show you how the app was real. So that was taxes. So now we'll go on to Snow Owl. So Snow Owl was and is an application on the App Store, or was on the App Store. Like many of you on your phones, here, your smartphones, you probably have the Facebook app, the Twitter app, the Yelp app. Snow Owl was also an app on the App Store, the real Apple App Store. You could download it, and I bet you there are many people in this room, average consumers, everyday people, that downloaded the Snow Owl app. By show of hands, how many people in this room had the app on their phone? Even a reporter had the Snow Owl app on their phone. Downloaded from the Apple App Store. The U.S. Attorney states in the indictment, and on Thursday of last week, that it was not a consumer product, that it was a prototype. I'm here to tell you that that is just simply not true. That in fact, I'm going to show you that from 2013 to 2015, progress on this app was made. That eventually, what became an idea landed in 2015 on the App Store, showing that no matter how I got there, I certainly did do what I told my investors I would do, which was create an app on the Apple App Store called Snow Owl. So before I go into the details, what was Snow Owl? What did it do? And why does it still have value even today? Many of you use social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. Many of you have to like or follow a business on those services in order to get their messages. But what happens when you go to Washington, D.C.? Or what happens when you go to New York City? Or what happens when you go to Providence? And you want to see the business posts, the soups, the burgers, the lunch specials from a business, but you don't even know the business exists. What Snow Owl did is it gave you a news feed like Facebook, like Twitter, of all the business posts from those services in one easy-to-follow news feed, without you having to know the business exists. So let's say Jasiel's Pizza Shop has a pizza special today. I tweet that out. I put that on Facebook. Well, that's only going to go to my followers. What Snow Owl did is it took that post from your Facebook page automatically and put it into a news feed that was discoverable by anybody that had the app. Okay? So that's the general gist of it. Now that's the physical app that you have on your phone. But where are all those posts stored? We created an algorithm, my programmers and myself, that ingested all of that app data. So if you were in New York, you could see the business posts from around you. If you were in DC, you could do it as well. And if you were in Fall River, and it worked here in Fall River, and it worked nationwide, you could do the same thing. And I'm going to show you that today. So I think by the end of this presentation, there's going to be no doubt that the app Snow Owl was on the App Store, and that it was real, and that the U.S. Attorney, in his statement that this was not a consumer product available to consumers, is false. And that in no way did I scheme, did I plan, did I plot to take investors' money without the intention and the deliverable of an app on the App Store. And as you saw before I even showed you the presentation, many hands in this room went up. Many average people, ordinary citizens, that had this app on their smartphones. Not a prototype, the real working application. And that through a series of events over time, which I can't necessarily go through all of them today, over time, this investigation that did not start, as the U.S. Attorney stated, with Snow Owl, but rather my campaign, in fact hurt the value of this product. In fact led to the abandonment, not by me, of this product, but of the abandonment of the App Store over time. And I'm going to show you what it did right now. Do we have the sound working on this?
Was Snow Owl ever available to consumers?
No, it was just a prototype.
Revenue?
No, my understanding is that Snow Owl did not have revenue, but it did reach the prototype stage.
Did everybody hear that? So I'll play it just one more time. This is the press conference last Thursday by the U.S. Attorney, where he states, he's asked by a reporter, I don't know who, was Snow Owl ever available to consumers? His response, no, it was just a prototype. Was Snow Owl ever available to consumers? No, it's just a prototype. Was Snow Owl ever available to consumers? No, it was just a prototype. Really?
Was Snow Owl ever available to consumers?
No, it was just a prototype.
Revenue?
No, my understanding is that Snow Owl did not have revenue, but it did reach the prototype stage.
So, let me show you the progress of Snow Owl. Because this didn't one day just appear on the App Store. It took time. It took money. It took research and development. It took vision. It took passion. It took countless hours to make it to the App Store. So many times you hear stories about people with an app idea. People in this room probably have had app ideas. Many times they never make it to the App Store. Many times they fail along the way. This is what Snow Owl looked like in 2013. Year one. This is our old logo. Now why an owl? Because owls are, especially snowy owls, messenger birds. So the idea at that time with Harry Potter and Hedwig was you could get these messages, these posts of content around you to your cell phone. Back in 2013, it's pretty exciting. You can see we had a prototype in 2013. Year one. I didn't sit there and not do anything. That's me. That's a real screen with a real working web page version of the prototype in our earliest days. That's a reality. That's not fake. This is 2014 and 15. So right the next year, 2014, you get to see the product begin to take shape. You can see the posts are coming through. These are real posts that businesses made. You can see that this was the news feed. And that news feed would generate posts and bring posts in. You can see that we had a sign-up page where you could pre-sign up, so the day the app came out on the App Store, you get an email and you could go download the app. So you can see, just from 2013 to 15, we made a lot of progress. The color scheme's changing to purple. You're seeing the lines in the product take shape. You're seeing a finalized, nearly complete version of a prototype at this stage, a working prototype. And then finally, the app status changes. The app status changes from prototype to available in the App Store. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can take the people's word that raised their hand and said they had the app on their phone, but take Apple's word, the biggest company in the world. Here are 2 emails. May 19, 2015. The following app has been approved and the app status has changed to ready for sale, app name Snow Owl, app version 1.0.3. Now, apps have many versions. If you have Uber on your phone today, that's probably version 22 from when they first launched. Doesn't mean that version 1 was not real. It was real. This is the direct email from Apple. There's another email with version 1.04, dated June 1st, 2015. This is what the app looked like on the App Store. So if you ever downloaded an app, you know that if you go to the App Store, and you could have at this time typed in Snow Owl, you'd see the app in the App Store, ready for download, available to consumers. A real working product that people in this room that we're standing in had on their own phones. There's the logo. You can see the evolution from 2013, the earliest product, to the final product on the App Store in 2015, delivering on my promise to my investors that we would get an app on the App Store that had value and could be sold. As every entrepreneur that dreams of selling an app will tell you, that's their dream, that's their goal, and that was our goal. We were no different. And the app made it to the App Store and was a real consumer product. This is our launch, 2015. Currently Vice President of the City Council, Pam LaLiberty LeBeau, sitting right there in the audience. Possibly taking a vote tonight, but sitting right there in the audience, watching in 2015, as I and my team of investors, of programmers, launched the app onto the App Store with a full presentation. Many people that are in this room were there that evening. You can see my developer, you can see myself, you can see many people were there. The app was real, and it was live. In June of 2015, before I'm mayor of the city of Fall River. I want to show you what the app did. I want you to actually be able to see what it did. So this is right from our slide deck. This is a product search of the word vegan. And as you can see, the biggest names in the business, Yelp, Google, Twitter, and Facebook. It's cluttered, a lot of text. It wasn't really giving you what you really wanted to see, right? It wasn't connecting you to the local business up the street that had a vegan soup today, a vegan cheddar soup. So let me show you what it did. That's the app. You could type in the word vegan. And there you have it. Real business posts. Not fake, real business posts. Veggie Galaxy, which I believe is in Cambridge, with vegan donuts, vegan cafe. These are all local businesses in your area when you search that word with their social media posts. This is my favorite one. Vegan cheddar soup. You know how difficult it is to find a cheddar soup that's vegan? Because vegans don't eat dairy. This was really cool stuff. Vegan banana split. Now that's just the word vegan. You could search burger, which was our top search while the app was live. You could have, your favorite things to do. You could have different posts that you saved. That's a real app. That's what we did. And I still today believe there's value. And as the U.S. Attorney said, the app is not dead. He said it's dormant. He didn't even say that it never materialized. He didn't even say that it's not valuable anymore. He said it in the indictment. The FBI agents told my investors that it was worthless. The app's not worthless. The app's not worthless. Now this is, again, Google Analytics. So I logged in the other day just to see how we did over a period of time. And the latest it would let me go back to was November 1st of 2015, till literally yesterday. So Google Analytics, again, you don't have to take my word for it. Google Analytics says that there was 3,200 users. You see that there, 3,200 users. 111,000 sessions. What that means is that the app was used 111,000 sessions, individual sessions on different screens within the app. Now, of course, we want those numbers to be as big as possible, but during a transition period, becoming the mayor, which all my investors were aware was happening, I transitioned the company to a new CEO, and a lot of these other things erupted. which we'll let other people determine the outcome. Now, the business posts that I was telling you about, where were people using this app, what was coming into the back end, so not what you physically see on the App Store, not what you physically see on your phone, but what was happening in our database that was collecting this information, where the algorithm was. At this time, we actually had more, but this was the one that I had for my presentation at that time. We had 1.1 million plus businesses ingested into the database, producing over 5.7 million posts on the app, live, not fake, live. Now, all the statistics that I shared with you today are verifiable. You don't have to take a single thing I said as fact. All I'm asking is that you verify. You, the press, whomever. Most importantly, the U.S. Attorney. That's the presentation.
So, Mayor, are you resigning?
Excuse me. So, I ask you once again.
Question.
Was this app real? I think so. I know so. The people that had the app know it was real. Why we ended at this stage of this 18-month investigation with all kinds of other craziness, that I know the reason too. Because it was politically motivated. We had the son of an investor wanting a job in City Hall. I pointed in him other directions. But that investor was suddenly disgruntled. We had former district attorneys upset that a 23-year-old beat them. We had my most recent opponent place their entire campaign on the fact that I would be indicted. This, from day one, began as a political attack on somebody that was challenging the norms here in Fall River. Now, to the question that most of you, I'm sure, are here to find the answer to. As I stated earlier in my comments, I am not proud of the situation that presents itself before me. And it is tough. I have reflected, I have prayed, I have been with my family, I have been with my friends, with my supporters. And you people are the most amazing people in my life. And when I really thought about this situation, and I thought about the options that I had, it really came down to one thing. It really came down to one thing. Could I show you that this app was real? And I think the answer is, we just showed you that the app is real. Could I show you that there might be some holes in this whole tax fraud scheme? And I think we showed you that there was, that it's not clear cut, that I didn't tell, accountants that, oh, do it this way instead of that way. That did not happen. I did not tell people, oh, please cover up my scheme. That is just not true. And through a trial, we will prove that that is not true. But I have other duties. Duties that I was elected to perform. Duties that I was re-elected to still perform. And I have an incredible foundation of people. An incredible foundation of people. So that is why, not arrogantly, not selfishly, but humbly, I will continue to every day show you how hardworking your mayor, the mayor of the city of Fall River, is. And I will not resign.
Mayor, do you
Excuse me.
recall?
Excuse
No.
me.
Do you recall a conversation
conversation we had,
Please continue.
that you said
Excuse
that
me,
you
Ms. Cook,
used
can I just
the
please continue?
company's
Please,
debit card
excuse me.
and it added up to $30,000.
Listen to the mayor.
Not $230,000.
Making a presentation,
$30,000.
please.
So,
Could you please answer that?
Fake news!
to the
It's
people.
recorded.
To the people that, to the people, excuse me, please, let me just finish my statement. I am here speaking to the citizens of Fall River. I understand this garnered national attention, statewide attention, even international attention. But none of that matters to me. My loyalty is to the people and the citizens of Fall River who have elected me their mayor. So, I humbly ask that the citizens, not the city council, not other elected officials, state and federal, not bullies, not the press, not social media posts, but the people of the city of Fall River either reaffirm my position as mayor or choose to recall me as mayor. Because those are the two choices. Those are the two choices. Those are the two choices that legitimately, legally, the city of Fall River faces. I understand the enormous power and substantial financial resources that the government possesses. And I must admit, it is intimidating, and it is scary, and it has drained me financially, mentally, physically. I still show up to work. I still am so proud. The best part of this job is shaking hands, going to banquets, talking to constituents, figuring out how do we continue to make this a better place. But it is intimidating what is before me. But I will fight it, and I will allow the truth to come out, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that will be embarrassed. A lot of local people that will be embarrassed.
Bring it on.
But this is America, and I am presumed innocent until proven otherwise. I will not allow political enemies to remove me from office for their own selfish agendas. Once again, this is tough. I thank each and every one of you out there in Fall River that's watching at home, that's watching on Facebook, that's here physically today, that knows that this app was real, that had it on their phones, post on Facebook, tweet at the local reporters. Tell people about this app. Show your support. Please join me, because it's going to be a long road, and it's not going to be easy. But the truth shall prevail. I want to thank all of you. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. I will continue to do the best job for the city of Fall River. Thank you, and God
Mayor, what happened to the money? Explain the
Joe, you're my hero. Thank you.
That's what it is.
Thank you for keeping it real.
That's what it is.